Ready to take the plunge and purchase a new home in 2021? Well, with interest rates so low, the affordability of housing has never been stronger. And with low inventory, home sales are most likely just going to continue to stay strong and not slow down. So today may be the best time ever to find your dream home. Finding the dream home is one thing, and then paying for it is another. And today we are discussing all the costs that are involved when purchasing a home. Hi everyone, I am Elisa McBride with Keller Williams Realty Select in Sarasota and Lakewood Ranch. And today we are talking, what does it cost to buy a home? Now I post new videos every week, so I really appreciate you subscribing to my channel, hitting that bell button so you're notified when I do, and feel free to leave comments and let me know how I can be of help. I wanted to share some general rules of thumb to help budget when buying. Now please keep in mind, these are not hard and fast numbers. There's no definitive here. They can vary depending on your location, whether you're homesteaded, what your credit score is, the elevation of your home, and so much more. However, this will help you get an idea of what to expect. Keep in mind, all real estate websites have loan calculators, but they program them differently, and those costs are really going to vary. For instance, I do know that Redfin seems to estimate their insurance cost really high compared to my site or other sites that I've known. When purchasing a home for cash or financing, these fees that I'm going over next will be associated with it. As I go through the numbers, I will offer a few examples, and for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to be using the home price of $350,000 for the purchase and a $300,000 mortgage. The number one thing people ask me about is property taxes. In Florida, the average tax homeowners pay is 1.1% of the home's value. This can vary depending on exemptions such as homestead, and if this is your primary residence, that's going to change. But for a rule of thumb, on that $350,000 home, it's going to be $3,850 a year at the 1.1% number. Now, insurance. Now, if you own a home with no mortgage, it is not required. And it's not required to have flood insurance either, but it is strongly encouraged. The age of your roof and windows is going to impact this cost. Now, the average cost is going to be about 70 cents per thousand, which would equate to $2,450 on a home of $350,000. Now, I'm not going to go deep into flood insurance because it really varies. Now, for reference, when looking at listings in the flood zone, if it's marked X, it is not in a flood zone. A, AE, those are flood zones. V is the worst, and that's along the coast, and usually those properties have to be built up to a certain elevation. Unfortunately, no insurance company is going to give you a quote without an elevation certificate, and I always defer to the expert. Please note, if you are buying a condo in a flood zone, it is customary your HOA fees will be part of the flood insurance, and you will not need a separate policy. Number 4, inspection costs. Approximately $420 to $650. Now this is going to vary depending on the size, age, and also if you're asking for a wind mitigation certificate. Number 5, closing fees. We work with attorneys and title agencies to close loans. There are a few variables, but in general they charge $450 to $500 to close a transaction. Number 6 is the title policy. Now either the buyer or seller may pay for title insurance, and it is approximately $5 per thousand. So again, back to that $350,000 home, it's going to equate to about $1,750. Now there can be other fees such as a lien search or a title search, and so you need to keep that in mind with title policies. The next cost I'm going to talk about are associated when purchasing a home with a mortgage. Appraisal. Now the lender wants to make sure the home is worth what they're loaning you, so they're going to require an appraisal. And an appraisal is going to cost about $450. Also, a survey. Now many times the previous homeowner will have a survey, and it is extremely helpful if they do, because surveys can be about $450 in cost. Now it will provide an elevation for flood insurance if needed, so they're very important and helpful. Florida tax stamp on mortgage. The state of Florida does have a tax stamp on your mortgage. I like to point out that Florida has no state income tax. However, they tax our mortgages and they also tax the deeds. So a seller has to pay when they're selling as well as the buyer. The Florida tax stamp is 35 cents per hundred, And this is on the mortgage, not your purchase price. So for the mortgage of $300,000, that's going to equate to $1,050. And then there is an intangible tax on the mortgage in Florida, and that is $3 per thousand, so $900 on a $300,000 mortgage. The last fee I want to talk about is your HOA fee. Each subdivision and homeowner association imposes their fees based on their expenses and what is included in those fees. Now be sure to verify those numbers when searching for homes. There is absolutely no rule of thumb, and the cost varies greatly. If you're purchasing a condo, there can be multiple fees, such as condo fee, an HOA fee. Now one may cover the building itself, while the other is going to cover the yard and the amenities. Be sure to get a copy of the financials and the declarations when purchasing a condo. There can be a few other small fees, such as a wiring fee, admin fee, transaction fees, or lien searches. As you can see, the cost to buy quickly adds up. It's a good rule of thumb to budget 3 to 5% when you're financing a property for your closing cost and prepaids. And if you're buying cash, then estimate about 1% of your purchase price for closing fees. As I mentioned, this is a general rule of thumb. I'm happy to discuss any of these expenses with you, and if you have questions, just let me know. Also, I do highly recommend speaking with a qualified lender, and if you need names of lenders in our area, feel free to reach out. I work with some extraordinary people that are wonderful, and I'd be happy to pass those names along. As always, thanks for watching, and perhaps you'd like some more information on other neighborhoods in our area, so check out some of my other videos. And as always, I really appreciate it, and until next time, take care.